Hey guys, and welcome back to the Interceptor. So today we're going Season 21 War number 2 against Old Drivers. So these guys are a decent alliance, but with how well we played last war, I don't think they'll be a problem. So we're starting out on Path 7, then we're going to jump all the way over to Path 1, and then I've also got this Domino mini-boss in the last section. So this is a rank 3 6-star, I believe, but it's unduped, so I won't have any crit fail damage. So we're going to go in with a different team this time. We're going to go with the team of Warlock, Magic, and then I believe I actually bring White Magneto because the person taking Mixmaster Korg needed the pre-fight, and I only have the 4-star. 5-star's not available, and I don't own the 6-star version of White Magneto. So yeah, there we go. You also get a little bit of a bonus damage for the mutant champs, unfortunately. I don't have any mutant champs that I'll actually be using for fights. So, yes, let's go over to this blade. So, the two champions that can take this blade extremely easily on this node or the second one are Archangel and Warlock. So, previous to me taking this, no one in my alliance had ever taken this fight with Warlock. However, I was the one doing the planning. I was like, this is going to be a joke of a fight with Warlock. So, on this node, the way you want to usually use Warlock is you want to be passively draining their power. So that's either when they have Salve or Willpower on, or both would be great as well. And basically this is just a typical parry heavy fight with Warlock. There's not really anything to this fight. It's very straightforward. And you can see he's going down very fast. So the thing is you have to bait out a lot of L1s. And it is easy to get cornered if you don't play this. If you're a tier 1 player, I don't recommend using Warlock. I would only send a Warlock to this fight if it was the best player that was using Warlock. So in general, Archangel is technically a better counter. However, I don't care. I can use either of them very well. So yeah, this guy's going down very nicely. We're already at 2 bars of power. Just gonna bait out this, and then I believe we're actually gonna throw our L2 here. Oh no, we're not. We're gonna bait out another L1. Okay. Block this and throw our L2. That makes more sense. Yes. So it's a little bit of a longer fight. I'll give you that. But it's also a very safe fight. The only possible way to die is by misjudging how much power he has when you can parry heavy, or getting stuck in the corner, and neither of those happen, so it's a very clean fight here. So let's move on to the next fight, and they didn't place anyone on the second node here, so we're just going to be taking this Supreme mini boss with Magic. Now on this node with Matador, you actually don't get bars of power until the opponent throws their special, but the thing is, I don't really care. Because I won't really need power to kill a 92,000 health Sim Supreme. It's just a joke of a fight. So yeah, very, very easy placement. I'm going to get some willpower healing from that power drain. And that power drain actually later in the fight is going to prevent me from being able to parry or to power lock. However, I had him in the corner there, and I went for an intercept, and rather than do a medium or a light so that I could get my opening, he decided that he wanted to parry me, so that was fun. Just got to bait out another L1 here. The thing is, with willpower and all these power locks, with him getting all these buffs, we're just healing right back to 100%. So that's why 100%. That's why I've stopped intercepting and I'm only going for blocks in this fight, because no matter how much block damage I take, I can't die, which is very nice. I don't think I even get through a single bar of power here, but I also never trigger Dex. Also, you can always trigger Dex, almost always against Sim Supreme. The only time that you cannot is when he's in his nullify phase, and that's something people don't usually know. So I've seen several videos of tier 1 Alliance War players saying that you can't trigger buffs against Sim Supreme ever. And that's just really, really untrue. But yeah, I had this guy move up for me because I wanted to move to Korg Mixmaster to put my pre-fight on with White Magneto. And this is just a very, very easy mojo on Power Snack. So Power Snack is one of the easier nodes in Alliance War. It's a node that a lot of people I've seen died to, and I'm always really confused when I see a death. Because there's no champion on this node that I cannot take extremely comfortably. So I don't know really what's going on, why people die to this node, but basically every single enemy on Power Snack can either be taken by one of 4 champions: Magic, Quake, Warlock, or Torch. In my opinion, there is 0 champions in the game that cannot be taken by one of those 4 champs on this node. There is a very specific strategy to using Warlock against this node, and I actually take rank 3 6-star Domino, Awaken this time, on this node later in the season, so you guys will see that, see my strategy. But yes, it's just not a hard node, honestly, and even with taking block damage the entire fight, I'm still at 91%. So yeah, we are feeding his prompts a little bit, but I made them fail earlier in the fight, just so that we wouldn't ever have to worry about the Fury or the Degen. So that fight goes down really nicely in 1 minute and 20 with no suicides, so can't really complain about that. And now let's go into our next fight. So we're going to go in here. This guy did not have a champ. I think he was just using up his energy. And I think I actually did get over. Yes, I did. Okay. So, yeah, I waited until the morning to clear because myself and the guy on path 2 had to clear together. So between the 2 of us, we had 8 fights to clear here, 4 each. And we, like, by the time I went to bed, he was just waking up. So there was, like, a bunch of confliction with the time. So I decided to just boost up in the morning. I did have, before we decided who was going to be taking this Elsa, because it was either going to be me or backup, I had someone record one of their videos against another guy, another one of these guys champs in section 1. Here I'm just going to open some solo crystals because I needed some health boosts. Just to check if this guy had suicides. Usually Elsas on defense don't have suicides with the current Alliance War map, because it did make sense on the old one, but on this map it just makes no sense to use them. So yes, we confirm this Elsa does not have suicides, and that just makes her a really bad placement here. So this has regen, and this is just Warlock food. World's easiest fight. I think I actually decide to eat an L1 because I'm so confident. Obviously that's a joke. I did not mean to eat an L1 in this fight, but I think I do later on. I could be thinking about a different fight. No, I did. Okay. So I decided to take a few hits there just for fun. Yeah. You just throw the L2 and it's doing nice damage. She's getting power drained. I get that nice stand-up intercept on my L2, and she's just down. Obviously not a perfect fight. I'm about 85%, maybe 80% confident on her L1. But I'm confident enough that I'll do it every single time in war. I'm more confident than Elsa's L1. Or sorry, Emma's L1. So now we have Venom on this node, and there were 2 counters you can bring to fight Venom on this node, and those are Quake or Magic. Personally, I believe that Magic is the #1 best counter to Buffet as long as there is no damage back and there is no like unblockable specials you are forced to evade. For example, if you're stuck in a corner, Loki's L2 is a good example. You can't block it. But it's just a very, very easy fight with Magic. I will use Magic again on this node more times this season. I don't doubt it. And that fight just goes down really nicely. So yeah, that goes down, and we're going to be going into this mini boss. So this is Hulkbuster, and I actually had the guy on path 3 bring a rank 3 Warlock as well for his fights. Both of his fights, I believe, I don't actually remember they were very easy Warlock fights. Both mutants. I think it was Colossus and I have no clue. I did the planning for this war, but this was a week and a half ago. So yes, Hulkbuster on this node is very simple. So the only thing you have to remember when you're fighting Hulkbuster is that whenever he has an armor up, all of your abilities have a chance to fail. Your parry can fail, your L2 armor breaks can fail, the reset of your infections can fail at the end of the L2. But as long as we keep him without an armor up, we don't really have an issue. And we're actually we're decreasing his defensive ability accuracy with our infection. So you'll notice that every time the armor up phase ends, he won't always gain an armor up. So that's actually really nice as well. So we did trigger a buff there, but it's actually not going to matter because every time he regens, he just gets a little burst of power drain on him. So Warlock is by far the best counter to him on this node. We do get a little shock there, but I was worried about how much the shock would be. 259 damage, it turns out. So here we're just waiting out the regen. Not in hindsight, don't really know why I did that, but it's actually not going to matter in this fight because this guy is down. There we go. Pretty clean fights. I definitely could have played a little better, but not getting hit, and I won't complain. So now we're going to move up to the middle, and I'm actually going to skip through. So we have an Annihilus on Rage, or an Annihilus, and this guy is going to be taking it with his Quake. Annihilus is one of the easiest champs in the game to Quake, and no tier 1 player should ever die quaking Annihilus. It's just, whenever I see Annihilus on the map and it's not Stunning Reflection or Window of Opportunity, my mind just goes straight to Quake. World's easiest Quake fight. So yeah, now we're just going to skip through this. Obviously, he soloed it. Because it's Rage, it's going to take a little while, but I think he actually ended with a full bar because this Quake guy never runs suicides. Even when we tell him to, he refuses to. But the thing is, he doesn't die, so I don't have a problem with that. So now we have Hurt Locker, Power Focus 1, Unblockable Special 1. And this is Domino. So Domino would actually be a great placement on this node. The Unblockable Special 1. I think if there was one way they could make this node harder, they could add a Special 1 bias to it. And that would just mean that as soon as the opponents got their L1, they would just throw it instantly. So here, every time that she gets to her L1, we're actually going to be... She has a chance to gain the evade counter, but I'm just not really worried about this in that fight because the chip damage from Domino when fighting her, even with a great counter like Warlock, actually comes from quick ability, which is the crit fail damage. So here I'm just going to chuck off an L3. I'm expecting this to do about 6 to 7%. But the real reason I threw the L3 and I did that last hit in the combo rather than just end it after a 4-hit combo is because I wanted to get that passive power drain off. And that's just going to keep her at 0 bars for maybe 5 seconds, but I'd say that that's worth it to not risk the evade charge. What's it even called? Like, I know it's called Lucky. I know it's Lucky activating, but like, what do you call that? Do you call that like a small chance and an auto evade? I don't know. It's just weird. So yeah, because of Power Focus 1, if she decides not to throw her L1, then we can just beat her up, and there's nothing she can do. So here she goes below bar power. She's losing her power very fast, and she is down. So that is another war finished by me. And then we had this guy, our Quaker here, come in and quake this Terex very nicely. So we got those 8 fights down in what, 6 minutes, 7 minutes, no deaths. So it's very nice. So we ended up dying. It wasn't 26 times. It was 26 times. Wow, that's the most we've had in a long time. So yeah, I got 5th. Finn actually got an MVP, so congrats to Finn. 7 attacker kills, considerably less than I did last war. I had I had 11 attacker kills, but I'm not really going to complain because I'm still at 18. I'm still almost double the average in the alliance for fights taken, and I haven't died yet, so that's great. So that is going to make us 2-0 on the season. As of the end of this war, we are still in tier 2, but we think that one more win is going to push us into tier 1. So that concludes the war versus Old Driver, and now have 0 deaths on the season. And I am 18 out of 18 for my PSR, or 100%. So the season, the start to the season is going pretty well, at least. So that's going to be it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.